I have been using the new Infinix Zero ULTRA for a few days now. In this review, we're going to dive into the things that you want to know before spending your money on the device. If by the end of watching this you still have any questions, feel free to leave a comment asking whatever it is you may want to know. In this day and age, whenever a phone has the name Ultra, it must be a top-of-the-line device, with specifications that should blow your mind. Does the new Infinix Zero ULTRA offer that? Let's find out. But first, let's unbox the device. Something I will keep mentioning whenever I am unboxing devices is this. It's great to see companies giving you all the things you need in the box. This unnecessary taking away of necessary accessories in the box in the name of saving the planet is annoying, especially when you later on have to buy the same accessories, meaning they have to be packaged and shipped differently. Infinix is offering you all the necessary accessories in the box. That includes a Type-C to headphone jack adapter, since they didn't include a 3.5mm jack on the device. With the thinness of the device, I think it was a reasonable decision to do away with a headphone jack. Infinix has actually launched two new devices, the Zero ULTRA and the Zero 20, which continues the Zero X series. I think Infinix looked at the specs of the new device and decided the huge numbers qualify to call it an Ultra phone. It comes with a ridiculous 200-megapixel camera, which as we'll see later on is pretty impressive. It also supports 180-watt fast charging, which we'll also see later on as being out of this world. The phone is powered by the Dimensity 920 5G chipset, which we will also dive into a little bit more. I think this could be the breaking point for the Ultra sort of specification or Ultra sort of feel that Infinix was going for. You also get 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of internal storage as standard. And you can expand RAM thanks to virtualization. The 6.8-inch display supports 120Hz refresh rates and is very nicely curved to the sides, giving the device this premium look we've seen many Android devices adopt. If you're concerned about accidental touches thanks to the curved display, worry not, as I have not yet encountered any serious issues. The phone is made of glass both at the front and at the back. The frame is metallic and we are guessing it's aluminum thanks to the device being very light on the hand, despite the 4500 mAh battery. Thanks to the display being AMOLED, there's optical sensors underneath it powering the fingerprint scanner. It's pretty fast and accurate and I have had no issues with it. While using the new phone, I've been showing it to people and trying to register their reactions so as to help with my review. I've been amazed with the many reactions I've received. For example, there being no huge branding on the white device I have, many people have been shocked when I tell them that it's an Infinix phone. I've had to prove to some by showing them the tiny Infinix branding on the top of the device. I think that speaks to just how different this phone feels and looks in real life. If you can find an Infinix shop near you, I think you should go check out the phone. On TikTok, I shared a small clip talking about the phone, and I believe you'll find that comment section pretty interesting. The link is in the description. Now let's discuss things that you badly want to know about the new Zero ULTRA. First, let's start with the cameras. Mentioning to anyone that this device has a 200-megapixel camera is something I've enjoyed doing in the past few weeks. Immediately you say that to someone, they want to see the sort of photos the phone takes. Well, here they are. Let me know what you think of each of these photos. You don't always take 200 megapixel photos by default. Like every other smartphone that comes with a huge megapixel lens, the phone does something called pixel binning. However, you can choose to take 200 megapixel pictures, and they take a little while to process. Yes, you can tell the difference between a normal photo and one that's taken in the 200 megapixel mode. The 200 megapixel photos have more detail when you zoom in, and they are also very big files. So for example, a normal photo will be say 5 megabytes in size, while a 200 megapixel photo will be up to 70 megabytes in size.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Selfies are detailed and clear and bright, and the processing is good enough with skin tones in different lighting scenarios. However, something a little off is that despite being a 32 megapixel lens, you can only shoot 1080p videos at a maximum of 60 frames per second. There is no 4K option. That will be a good thing for people who create content. There are multiple camera modes, including a film mode, which helps you capture different scenes thanks to preset looks. You can do time-lapse videos, AR shots, slow-mo videos at either 120 frames per second to 40 frames per second, or a crazy 960 frames per second. Something that's still a challenge for the phone is videography. To be fair, this is still a challenge for many other Android flagships. Though there is optical image stabilization, you'll still find that footage can appear very shaky when walking. The processing is also a little off sometimes, and contrast isn't always accurate. The 180-watt charger included in the box is the best thing ever, not only for the phone but for someone like me whose devices all use Type-C. This year, Infinix has checked all the boxes with a new charger and cable. First of all, the cable included is Type-C to Type-C. That's different from many other manufacturers, Oppo, Xiaomi, Vivo, Tecno and more, who always have a Type-A to Type-C cable. Secondly, most other manufacturers have their own fast charging standards, which means whenever you use their cable on a different device, it will not fast charge your other device. Well, Infinix has adopted, I guess, every other standard. The charger will fast charge the Infinix Zero ULTRA in just above 14 minutes from 0 to 100%. That's wicked. Not once did the device get hot, that's also more wicked. And it will fast charge almost every other device up to that device's supported fast charging rate. For example, I tried it on my M1 MacBook Pro, and it charges at the same rate I believe with Apple's charger. It also fast charges the Galaxy Fold 4, which I'm reviewing, the Xiaomi 11T which I have, and every other device in my house, be it an Oppo or a Samsung or a Tecno phone. I love this charger, and I'm hoping to see Infinix have it sold separately. I normally don't go all in on performance of devices in my review, since I don't do much with my devices apart from social media and reading. I don't play any phone games, and I find that most of the recent processors, even those on 20k phones, are decent enough for everyday use. However, the TikTok video which I already mentioned above had some weird comments which forced me to do some benchmark tests on the new Zero ULTRA. As you can see, this is how the device performed on Geekbench. I think that's pretty okay. I think that shows you that you can do a lot with this phone. I also tried 3D Mark's wildlife test, and this was the performance results. I must say, I noticed the phone to be very smooth in my use, and a few aspects stood out. First of all, the display's refresh rate makes it very sweet to scroll on. I think 120Hz should just now be standard on all devices. Secondly, app installs are very fast. Normally when installing an app with certain devices, you'll have to wait a bit so that the app installs. It's like a normal thing we've gotten used to. However, on this phone, once an app is done downloading, the install literally takes no time. Like, the app is just downloading and it's installed, and I love that. The 8 gigs of RAM and the 256 gigs of fast UFS storage have proven to be quite adequate. Thanks to RAM virtualization, which Infinix calls MEM Fusion, you can expand RAM by up to 5 gigs of internal storage, which gets you to 13 gigs of RAM. It also comes enabled by 3 gigs extra by default. So when you first unbox the device, you'll find that MEM Fusion is set to 3 gigs extra. So that's 11 gigs of RAM by default. Also, the phone never gets hot when running benchmarks. Using it on Android Auto, it also never got hot. Having as many apps as possible, it never got hot. And I am very impressed. It is on software that I have a lot of issues with the Infinix. They have tweaked the look of XOS, their skin on top of Android 12 a little more once again. I think it looks way better than before. However, it's still bloated a lot. There are very many apps that I don't need. Many of them are not uninstallable. Many of them are just weird apps that I'll never use, and I wish Infinix made it an option, or perhaps with their higher end devices, they didn't include them. There are certain features I haven't asked for and are still here, and I wish they were optional. Also, there are certain causes of concern with certain permanent apps having certain permissions that one cannot change. It is weird because these aren't apps you'll be using, and they're also not uninstallable. So you have apps that have access to your contacts, your camera and location. You cannot deny them these permissions, and you can also not install these apps. I hope Infinix comes clear on this. I also hope they do a lot more into assuring customers of regular system and security updates.
3, 2, 1,
It will be nice to know that when you get this phone, Infinix will keep it up to date, not only on a monthly basis, but up to 4 years. That will mean whatever value you're giving into acquiring the phone right now will be stretched out many months. I think the hardware is pretty capable of handling up to 4 years of updates. It will also be really nice to see official IP water and dust ratings, because there is none, although there are rubber seals around the device even when you remove the SIM tray. What are your thoughts on the Zero Ultra? Will you get it? Please tell me why.